Hello everyone and welcome to another Guild Wars 2 info update. I am Sabre. This is episode number 17. Today I'll be going over the Ranger profession, mostly about the new pet mechanics that are going to be in Guild Wars 2. Also, I'll be talking about death and life in the form of healing. But first, I am going to go over that Ranger profession. Now, with the Ranger profession, which is the third profession to be released, the Ranger will retain his Jack of all trades, Master of some playing style that was seen in Guild Wars 1. Besides the longbow combat, ArenaNet has embedded some of the Ranger Warrior and Ranger Assassin abilities from Guild Wars 1, in the form that they will use melee weapons and also be able to dual wield. They will also retain their good defensive abilities such as Rogue Defense.
That's how it's done.
The Ranger's weapon arsenal will include one-handed sword and axe. The offhand will also feature the axe, dagger, warhorn, and torch, and the two-handed longbow, short bow, and the great sword. To take a step slightly away from the Ranger for a moment, in the videos that were released by ArenaNet, we got to see how a torch and a warhorn would work for them. In the torch video, we see that the Ranger was able to ignite the ground in front of her, then switch to her bow to begin shooting through the fire, setting her arrows on fire to burn her victims. In the Warhorn video, we see the Ranger summon a flock of birds to terrorize his target. Keep in mind that ArenaNet did say that these weapons, along with others, will have different skill sets depending on the profession. So these two functions shown here might not be the same that's in other professions like the Warrior. The Ranger's skill types will remain somewhat the same in Guild Wars 2. They will again have the ability to summon a spirit that will act as a buff for allies or debuff for foes. They will also have the ability to lay traps again, but unlike Guild Wars 1, they will not be able to lay down multiples of the same trap. Last but not least, the Ranger will again have control over a pet, which at later levels will carry its own skills. We will see a lot of the same pets in Guild Wars 2 like the Moa bird and the bear, but we'll also see newer ones like a shark for those underwater adventures. The mechanics for pets will also be changing in Guild Wars 2, so I'll break those down for you. The Ranger can carry up to 3 pets at one time, so no more losing that single pet to get a different one like in Guild Wars 1. The Ranger can only have one of these pets out at one time, but may be able to swap the pet out using a utility skill. There will also be an elite skill called Alpha Strike, which will bring all 3 pets out at once for a big attack on a target. There are 12 different types of pets, ranging from land animals like the wolf to an aquatic shark. And in each of these types, there will be subtypes that will affect the pet's skills. Like a polar bear will have an icy roar, while a brown bear will have a fearsome roar. So unlike Guild Wars 1, what exact kind of pet will matter. Pets level as their master, you the player levels, and they will gain health, armor, and basic attacks from that. Pets will also evolve differently in Guild Wars 2 and can impact the game greatly. There will be a pet evolution cap of 20. The pet gains points to this evolution line while it's active and as the Ranger gains XP. At each level, the pet will gain various bonuses that will depend on what animal it is. For a bear, this can be damage or health bonuses. Also, at designated evolution levels, the pet will unlock up to 4 ability slots. These slots can be filled with various skills depending on what type the animal is. The controls for the pet have also changed and will be broken into 2 sections: modes and commands. Modes are ongoing behavioral settings the Ranger can toggle on and off, much like what we saw in Guild Wars 1. These include aggressive, to have the pet auto-attack when the Ranger is attacking; defensive, which will make the pet wait until the Ranger is attacked before it attacks; and passive, which will make the pet not even attack at all. Commands are a new form of direct interaction with the pet. This will give the Ranger more control over the pet than in Guild Wars 1. First, the command is attack, which will order the pet to attack a target without actually having to attack the target first, him or herself. Next is heal, which will order the pet to come back to you. And finally is stay, which will lock the pet in one spot. Not major controls by any means, but it's enough to get your pet to where you want it to be. That'll do it for Ranger and Pet news, so here are some quick notes that we learned about death. There will be a last stand system in Guild Wars 2. Players, upon being quote-unquote killed, will first go into a down state, where they will gain a new set of skills, which will be weaker to fight for their life. While in the down state, players will get a new consciousness bar that will degenerate on its own. The down player can still be attacked regularly to lower that bar faster. When the consciousness bar runs out, the player will enter a defeated state, which means you won't be able to fight anymore. Players can be revived in either of these states, so even if you're downed, you can still be revived. This system will be both in PvE and PvP. In PvE though, monsters will not have a down state to go into, they'll just go straight into the defeated state. They will, however, be able to revive each other. When reaching either the downed or defeated state, players will have the option to go back to a waypoint on the map for a small gold fee. If your character has no gold on them to get to a waypoint, it will automatically be pulled out of your storage account. If you have absolutely no gold period, well, this one's on the house. There will not be a death penalty system in Guild Wars 2. Reenet felt that the penalty system, minus a gold sink fee, would make the game less fun. With all this, Reenet did admit that technically you cannot die in Guild Wars 2, just go into a defeated state. Now to combat death, well, you gotta be able to heal, so here are some healing notes for you all. First, quote, there will not be a dedicated healer profession in Guild Wars 2, end quote. So we have confirmation that there will not be a straight up monk profession in Guild Wars 2. That job will be separated and embedded into several different professions in the game, along with all the professions carrying that dedicated healing skill slot for personal preservation. All professions will have the ability to revive a player, so any character will be able to revive any other character in the game. Players will have the option to go support heavy if they want to. There will still be dedication to damage in some of the weapon skill areas, but some of the attack skills will have multi-purpose, causing damage to foes and healing allies, some of which are buried in traits. So fear not, there will still be a support playing style in Guild Wars 2 if that is your cup of tea. The only other information I have for you today about Guild Wars 2 is that dungeons will actually feature a 5-man party, which is actually the exact same size as the high-end PvP combat, 5v5. In the GuildMag PodCast, episode number 3, the most recent one we did, myself, Melchior, and Azari actually recommend a game for you that's totally free that's dedicated to 5v5 combat. To find out what that game is and all our opinions about the information I just discussed in this video, go ahead and go over to www.guildmag.com and download the podcast there. Again, that's episode number 3. One final note for you is that these videos will actually become less frequent. I just can't keep up the pace of doing 2 to 2.5 videos a week. So with that, when we get a stagger information or major news updates like the Ranger profession today, I will release a video for you guys to watch. But again, less frequently, no loss of quality, I just can't keep up the pace of this forever. So that'll do it for this Guild Wars 2 info update. I am Sabre Wolf. Thank you very much and have a good day.